2, 1. Hi there, my name is Angela Breidenbach, and I'm one of the authors of The Blue Ribbon Brides, and I have with me one of my sister authors, Cynthia Hickey. And she has a wonderful story in this book that is called Competing Hearts. It is set at the Arkansas State Fair, 1930. The Great Depression has hit Annie Mae Tompkins' family, and prize money from the State Fair could really help them. But when Jonathan Mercer's pig destroys her quilt entry, she hunts for another prize to chase. A beauty pageant may be the ticket until she learns Jonathan's the judge. And a little bit about Cynthia. Cynthia Hickey grew up in a family of storytellers and moved around the country a lot as an army brat. Her desire to write about real but flawed characters in a wholesome way that her 7 children and 5 grandchildren can all be proud of, and she and her husband live in Arizona, where Cynthia is a full-time writer. And now, ladies, I'm going to bow out and let you take it away. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to introduce you. Cynthia Hickey, please be introduced to the Vine Book Club at Faith Church in Dyer, Indiana. Ladies at the Vine Book Club, this is Cynthia Hickey.
Hello.
Hi, Cynthia. Thanks for agreeing to do this.
You're welcome. I kicked my family out of the house because they don't know how to be quiet.
Is this the first time you've done something like this?
On video, yes.
Okay.
So have you done things just by a phone before?
I've done some radio interviews on phone, and then I do a lot of teaching, speaking engagements. So yeah, first time on video.
And you're in Arkansas? Is that where she said?
Arizona.
Right. We just bought our second house in Arkansas, right across the street from my parents. So I'm actually going out there next week, and I'm going to spend about 6 weeks out there, and then come back here. And my husband retires in fall of 18, and then we'll spend most of our time in Arkansas, and then part of the year here in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Like a snowbird.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of like a snowbird. I mean, my parents are getting up there in age, and I want to, I'm the oldest, so I feel like it's kind of like up to me to take care of them. And then our kids and grandkids are still here in Arizona, so we want to go back and forth.
So can you give us some background on your story, please?
Well, as a child, or I guess I would say probably since about the time since I was like 10, the Arkansas State Fair was always something that my family did every year. And us kids would save our allowance so that we would have extra money other than what mom and dad gave us to buy tickets for the games and for the rides and stuff like that. And so when we came up with the idea of pitching to Barber, Gina Wellborn and I pitched this idea at a writers' conference to the editor at Barber, and we thought it would be fun because a lot of people have fond memories of their county fairs, and so we thought it would be fun to pitch an idea of where all the stories took place at county fairs. And well, in Arkansas, one of my fondest memories of the county fair was the animal exhibit, and they had this really huge hog in a pen, and under the pen was a straw-filled dummy so that it looked like the pig was lying on somebody and squishing them so that the legs were sticking out. So I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do an animal competition. And then quilts were also a really big thing for the old-time county fairs. And I'm like, what would happen if my character had a quilt and yet it got destroyed by the love interest in the story? And so then I threw the pig in, and it just kind of made it more fun.
So tell us something about how you came up with the characters. It's a favorite question we like to ask the authors. And were there any, is there anybody, like an actor or an actress that, you like derived a picture in your head from for your characters?
No, not really. But I formed the family over on a smaller version of the Waltons. I'm a huge fan of the Waltons. I grew up on their show, and I formed the father, my character's father after the father on the Waltons, and then the daughter's kind of a mixture of myself, my cousins, and maybe the Walton girls. I don't know, but she's basically a combination of me and my cousins.
Okay.
I just had a comment. In the book, you described the quilt, and it sounded like such a beautiful quilt. I felt so bad when it got destroyed, when the pig destroyed it. I wanted that quilt to win first place.
Well, I chose the quilt because my grandmother had 11 kids and raised them through the Depression, and yet she still managed, when she passed away, she had enough quilts to leave all of her kids a quilt. Nice. And I thought that, and I know that, I'm not sure if my grandmother ever entered one of her quilts into a county fair. I think they were more useful than decorative. But I thought it would be, and I've since started an interest in quilting, so I put that interest into the story.
I would have loved to have seen that quilt that was in your story.
I don't know if here's one of my quilts I've made.
Hey!
And it's got clothes from, my husband and I did foster care for 9 years, and this quilt has pieces from my children and our foster children, because when they're young, they allow you to make them clothes. when they get a little bit older, they don't want homemade clothes anymore. But I saved pieces of all of every child outfit that I ever made, and I made the heart quilt. So.
Oh, that's so special. Who's gonna get it someday?
I have 2 quilts that I've finished, and I'm working on a third. It's an Oklahoma star pattern, but it's still in pieces. I have 7 children, so my husband we have a yours, mine, and ours family. So I think they're probably going to have a lottery. I just don't know if I'm going to have time to make that many quilts.
Plenty of time.
That's coming from our blanket.
So they said that, Angela said that you come from a family that is writers or literary.
Well, my father has written a memoir of his time in the Korean War. He was 17 during that war, and he was one of 3 men that came out of his platoon alive. So he has written a book on his memoirs of that war, and then he's written a couple of westerns. But I grew up hearing family history put into a story rather than just saying, oh, your grandpa when he was such and such. We're a Scottish family, and Scots are great storytellers. And so as I was growing up, when they would tell me something in regards to a bit of family history, it was always put in a story form. So I just think that storytelling is just something engraved in my family.
Oh, that's awesome.
How long have you been writing?
Well, I've been writing since I learned to read at the age of 5. But I got my first book contract in 2007.
Okay.
And then in May of 2013, I went full time.
Oh.
Hi, Angie. That was fast.
I know, it goes really fast.
It goes really fast.
So much fun to talk to everybody and to hear all the different stories behind it. And I've had the joy of listening and having something in common with every single one of my sister authors, and it just kind of blows my mind. You know?
Didn't get to see my quilt, though.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
I could see and hear you. You couldn't see me.
Oh, all right.
I was trying to feature you and not take the stage.
Okay.
What book are you working on next?
Well, this book just released. It's another Barber anthology. It's called the American Heiress Brides. I have this one that I actually have a copy of. But then in on April 1st, there's another anthology that I'm in called Pony Express Brides. But I haven't received my copies yet, so I can't really show that one to you. But the one that released after Blue Ribbon is American Heiress Brides. And this one was a lot of fun. It's all about women who stand to inherit something, but yet they realize that love is the greatest inheritance of all. So it was really fun to write.
That is awesome. And please tell us how we can find you.
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, under Cynthia Hickey. My website is www.cynthiahickey.com. My email, if you want to email me a question or anything, is cynthiahickey@outlook.com. I'm real easy to find.
Awesome. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off our recorder, but you ladies can have another minute to ask any questions. And thank you so much for being with us, Cynthia.
Thank you.